Hello everyone, and welcome back to another G1 Transformers review. I thought I would do another one of my combiner sets, and as you can see it's the seacons. I actually used to think they were called the seacons, but since actually getting these back out, it's actually seacon, which is strange. Anyway, a little bit of how your mind plays trick over the years. This one is overbite. And as you can see, I've still got the cards and everything for these figures, so I'll show you them in their packaged form to start with, and then I'll take them out and show you the transformations and that. He's some kind of shark cross between a lobster. It's a weird figure, to be quite honest. The seacons are an unusual mix, and very sort of like G2-y sort of coloured. These did sort of come in, I think they were about the 88, 89 sort of mark, I think, when they came out. Though I could be wrong, I haven't actually looked at that. Yeah, they're a bit weird. They weren't in so much of the G1 cartoon in the Western sort of one. They came in to the cartoon when it was more the like the Headmaster line, that sort of thing, the Takara Japanese ones, and I think he was called God Neptune in the combined form, but of course we know him as Piranacon. But yeah, enough of that. I'll just bring the box in, or the card back I should say, so you can see the artwork, see him in his packaging, and of course you get the usual descriptions on the back there, and I'll bring these right up there so you can freeze it and read it. Hopefully that comes out clear enough for you. Yeah, pretty much standard usual packaging. Just taking that. It's been packaged away for quite a few years, so it's a bit dusty, so you'll have to forgive that. I'll get his packet down out of the way. Now these figures all came with, yeah, a lot of dust. I'll just wipe that off before we have a closer look at it. These figures all came with some extra bits which actually turn them into like a target master, which is a bit odd. None of the other combiners came with these sort of attachments. They had more like a weapon to actually fit to themselves, and it consists of like a large blaster and what looks like the combiner foot, but it isn't. And what these effectively are is a stand, so you connect the peg on the end in to create like a little stand that you can put him on, and he's got a hole underneath, and you can stand him on there, and I think it's with the other weapons and that you can actually turn him into like a actual cannon in himself. And just have a look at the card back just to see how they did this one. Oh, there should actually be another little piece with him as well. That must be in somewhere else probably, unless it's loose in the... oh no, still in the case, hasn't come out. Right, to transform him into his cannon mode, sorry, that piece should go on top. Then you put his head, robot head, out, like so. You flip up his head there, and you fit his blaster into the front. And as I said, this is a weird sort of mode. You've got to swing back his legs as well. That's the other thing, like so. And then you can connect that into there to make a gun. Now, not the most convincing mode in the Transformers history, I'll grant you, and I can't really think why anyone would actually want to do that. It is purely, I think they're just trying to come up with some other ways of using the figures. Anyway, get back to its proper modes. There's his shark cross lobster sort of mode. Quite colourful, quite a nice lot of little moulded details and sort of nice little sticker applications. As I say, you'll have to forgive if you see any dust on it, because I've literally only just got these out of the storage where I've got them in the roof, and you know, they've probably been there for over 10 years. But yeah, so he's got a little opening and closing mouth. But yeah, basically articulation is limited. He's got movable arms on the front there, and his legs are articulated at the foot, knee and at the hip. Now to transform him, fold his shark fin over, flip his tail up, flip the shark's head upwards like that and pull it forwards, and effectively you've transformed him, because you just fold his feet into his arms, and there you go. So that is a G1 overbite. As I say, dusty as hell. I really should have maybe got these out and given them a clean before I started this review, but you're seeing them in their raw old-fashioned state. And then of course you've got his purple blaster, which can peg into his hand, and that's him done. Bring him in so you can have a look. Usual tiny little heads for combining the figures later into Piranacon, but not a bad little figure. Now I'll stand him over to the side and we'll start on the second one. And this one is seawing, and as you can see, got his packaging, and he's modelled on like a manta ray. I'll bring his packaging in so you can have a look. Looks a little bit like a headmaster in that sort of like picture, which is strange, you know, that you could almost, well actually I do think I saw in the Transformers Vault they were actually going to do a headmaster of a manta ray, and I wonder if that's some of the artwork and they've just changed it slightly. But anyway, back to his packaging. I'll bring right up in so you can read that. Okay. Usual G1 packaging that you get inside. The same three things to make up, which are horrendously dusty as well, to make up the cannon parts. I'll quickly run through. Let's have a look how his cannon mode goes. Now you have to change, let's have a look, from his manta ray mode, which I'll just let you have a look at. Pretty good, nice sticker applications. Again, opening and closing mouth, which is a nice little feature. While we've got him in the ray mode, I'll do that first. He came with a blaster which pegs together, so it forms like a double blaster, but you can, in the manta ray mode, peg those under his wings, so he's got weapons in fish mode effectively. Now to turn him into his cannon mode, you have to swing his legs out to the back, lift like the wing parts, the flipper parts up, and swing the side bits of what is the head of the ray around like so, and then the guns, let's have a look, they then slide backwards so that they're all in line at the front, and then you peg the gun back together. Let's see if that'll go like so, and then the large peg on the back of that fits into the front, and then again fold out. In this case it's not actually his head, it's just a post. Fold that out and connect it in. You can tell they're quite stiff, but I haven't really done that mode before, and the fact that they're still like new. Again, not the most convincing mode, I don't particularly like it. and it's never been a way that I've displayed them. Going to robot mode, you bring these bits forward on the sides of the head to effectively form legs. The wings of the ray stay to the side like that. Just swing down what were like the back legs to form his arms, and then fold his tail down and out the back. Not exactly the sort of lankiest figure, he's pretty stocky. Both weapons again, separating them apart, they've got a little peg which they pegged onto the wings, and they can peg into the fists. So he's got two guns, and I'll bring him in so you can have a closer look. Usual little, again, little tiny head, but nice sort of sticker wraps, sort of all the way round. More kibbly on the back. I mean, overbite is pretty kibbly, like huge claws on his feet. But yeah, they are pretty kibbly figures, but not bad in their own right. Right, the next one is nautilator, and he's some kind of lobster type crab, more of a lobster I think, looking at him with that tail. I'll bring it in so you can see his artwork. Again, pretty nice G1 style artwork, and again I'll bring in his write up so you can read that. Okay, again sort of usual packaging, exactly the same accessories. I'll quickly whiz through the bits he comes with. Usual 3 parts to make up the stand. I won't bother to assemble that, I'll use one of the others. A small grey like triple blaster, a little bit reminiscent of Gatling gun what Rampage, as in the Beast Wars, but obviously on a smaller scale. But yeah, there you go, that's his beast mode. Nice sort of like movable little claws at the front. All the legs are fixed together, they're just one moulding. And again, a little opening and closing mouth at the front. But yeah, quite a good little beast mode, that one. I do quite like them in their beast forms, better than their robot modes to be honest. I'll just run through and let's have a look at the packaging again, see what his cannon mode's supposed to be. Now that's a lot more simplified. You just take the tail, swing it over the back and stick the gun up his bum effectively, and then you'd swing out a post underneath and that pegs into the stand. I may as well do it since I'm explaining it. Alright, so, and let's just face facts, that looks like you've stuck a lobster on a stick and stuck a gun up its bum. Again, not the greatest alt mode. Why they bothered, God only knows. I mean, you don't really need those parts for anything else either, so they're just extra bits you got hanging around. Now to take into robot mode, it's relatively straightforward. Let's do the same again. You've got to flip the tail over. You take the lobster head and flip that down, and that actually automatically reveals his head. You have to forgive the dust again. It's, you can see now, genuine G1 old-fashioned dust. Usually sitting on the shelf and then getting put away, which was a bit naughty on me. I should have given him a good old wipe over, shouldn't I? You got articulation in the arms there. Some quite nice sticker applications. I'll bring that in so you can see them. Nice Decepticon logos and that on the top. You can swing the legs back, but to be quite honest, with his claws there, you'll have to lift them up so that these can swing and the claws can go inside of it. So let's just say kibble extreme on that, shall we? I mean, it's more lobster than it is robot. As with the others. You can peg his gun onto his fist like so he can hold it. But quite a nice little robot in his own way. But again, due to the combination mode of these things, they're all pretty kibbly and pretty stocky, clunky things. But again, this is G1, so what do you expect? The next one is Skalor, and again I'll bring it in so you can see his artwork, and I'll bring it in so you can see the write up on it. Okay, usual again, all the same sort of parts. I'll leave that up there so I can do his gun mode for him. Again, the 3 useless clips you'll probably never use again. 2 blue blasters, which are handed, so they actually fit together. It's that part there which connects them. I'll do his blaster mode as well. Swing the legs back pretty much how they are when they're packaged. Flip the front of the fish head forward and up, and under his mouth you've got a hole for the peg on the back of the guns, and you do that like so. You'd need to get his head out, and again that just pegs in like that. Again, another useless gun mode which nobody probably ever used. In his fish form you could fit his weapons. I've noticed on these that the fins are getting a little bit slack. Now these weren't heavily played with when I had them when I was younger, because I was getting a bit older when the seacons came out. There we go, seacons came out, and so they didn't get a lot of play with, which hence why the stickers look so new. These aren't replica labelled or anything like that, these are the genuine stickers. So he only had light playware, but here we go. I think they have to go with the actual connector bits on the outside to actually fit there, and they've got small pegs the size a lot for the fists, and you can put his weapons on the top. Again, opening and closing mouth, and you've got movement on the legs and arms with the creature mode. I'll bring it in so you can have a look. Quite nice scaly sort of details and that, and sort of basic sort of lump of a fish tail there, but not bad. A little bit like a Piranacon. And again, I was quite sort of, I do like him. I've got a reissue of the Piranacon figure, and I must admit I'm quite a fan of like some of these G1 beasts. Not as mad on some of the Beast Wars ones. I found them too spindly. I quite like them when they're a bit clunky and a bit, I suppose, a bit more cartoony, to be quite honest. I just find they've got a bit more, a bit more meat to them. Now I transform them into robot mode. Fold the fin down, flip his tail up, bring the fish face forward, and swing it round. And then you're pretty much there at robot mode. All you've got to do is get his fists out the bottom of his fish legs, and then he can hold his guns in his hands as well, like so. Again, clunky figure, huge kibble, weird colours, but I don't know, just that little bit more interesting just for the fact of it, really. They were going off on some weird tangents by this time in G1. And saying weird tangent, the last of like the smaller modes is the weirdest, and I suppose that's why they saved him till last, because I've done them in the order. And this is tentakil. Now, that's just weird. Whoever came up with that really either been working too long or taking something what he did. I'll bring in his artwork and that, which, as with most G1s, is probably that much better than the figure. Pretty good sort of usual packaging. Bring that in so you can read his tech specs. Yeah, he's basically some kind of squid monster. He comes with, again, the usual weaponry, and again the usual stand in 3 pieces. I mean, you can always peg these into the fists as well, these small pegs on these weapons. You could effectively say they've given them a huge gun as well, but as soon as they all come with a proper gun for them, it's kind of defunct really. Right, looking at Tentakil, he is a weird figure, sort of reminiscent of the sort of style and the manufacture of like the junior headmasters, like with the pinks and that on these figures. But yeah, that is a weird figure by any stretch of your imagination. That is just plainly odd, and only, well, G1 really. I think even in Beast Wars they're a little bit more sensible in beast modes. Very sort of anime Japanese sort of styling. Again, his weapons, you can mount them onto the side of his head. So he's got a head cannon, which again, that in some ways, at least they incorporated these weapons into their beast modes, which is better than the cannon sort of mode. And talking of that, I suppose I should show you that as well. Right, pull it out and flip the top of his head over. It doesn't want to move. Just be careful, just because I want to hear snapping plastic. There we go. You connect the guns together. Small peg into the larger one, like so, and they just peg into the end. And it's just a case of, well, it's that way up, and fold up the legs and bring down post out of his robot chest. And when that eventually pegs in, that's his cannon mode. And again, you'll probably never put it in it. I certainly won't be doing that if I get to display all these again. They'll be staying in their combiner mode. Anyway, getting him back to his normal robot, well, beast mode, and then showing you to his robot mode. Squid monster, you take, again, pull the top of his head, flip it over, bring the legs back and over like in the cannon mode, and you've effectively transformed him. You can swing these tentacles back round. You have to be careful how you say that, because it could be something misconstrued. And again, they've all the guns have got small pegs to fit into the fists, and that's his robot mode. And I'll bring that in so you can see. Again, usual spindly head, but nice sticker applications, like I say, all original and all actually in really nice condition. They've all stayed well where I've put them back in the package, and like I say, I didn't have a lot of play with these figures because they came out at the later part of when I was collecting them originally, so they didn't get quite so abused as some of the other figures, the early ones. Right, and now on to the main character, which is their combiner sort of leader, and this is Snaptrap. And as you can see in his packaging, usual Power Master and Pretender artwork on the back. I'll bring in his tech specs so you can read up on him. Pretty nice G1 box. This was obviously getting onto the later style of the box art. This is a bit like an unboxing right from you. all these accessory parts are in there. I've still got the cardboard inserts, usual instruction manual. Still got his sort of internal double and cardboard. No tech spec decoder, there's a surprise. I don't know whatever happened to all my decoders, but it seems that most of the ones that I'll show you in my reviews never seem to have them still. I think perhaps I got rid of them years ago. Anyway, that's what you get when you open the box. A large cannon toting turtle. And actually, I think probably one of my more favourite of the seacons. I think he's made, although a little bit weird at the back end, and the fact that he's sort of standing a bit of a funny angle. I'm not quite sure what these are supposed to be really on a turtle, but I do like him. He does have a feature that if you move that side to side, his cannons move in and out like if they're firing, which again was another feature I did really like on this figure. Obviously he doesn't have a stupid cannon mode, so that's good. Lots of nice sticker applications on him all over. Yeah, he's a really good figure. He's worth having on his own in that way. Like I say, came with his instruction manual. A large blaster, which is again horrendously dusty. I do apologise. As with all of these figures, they all had a one-off blaster. They didn't ever come with a a recolour of a different gun or anything from any other figure. Get some of the dust off. That's his combiner head of Piranacon, which is a good one, you know, that's quite a nice one. I know they do aftermarket ones for these, but I kind of like the originals. It's sort of, you know, it's keeping it sort of like the original G1. I know I have got the aftermarket kit for my Devastator, which that was more for articulation that I got the aftermarket one. These guys are reasonably well articulated, so I won't bother getting the aftermarket kits for these. 2 feet, both the same in this mode because the holes are actually central, so they're not handed. Although they do have left and right, an L and an R underneath. There is no difference between them other than that. A weird pink sword, which is bizarre. Now I know that on, like I say, the aftermarket ones they brought out, there's a huge great chrome one. Just a shame really they didn't just chrome this, but there you go. Just a weird, another weird little thing. And 2 fists. Now these fists are different from the standard ones because in these fists they've got the connections inside for holding one of the other seacons, because again I'm doing it, seacons, because one of them becomes a weapon for him. Now I'm actually going to have to look at the packaging because I can't remember how I used to combine it, so I'll go by the box art and we'll make him up when we do Piranacon in the mode that they show. Right. Well, firstly of all, anyway, I should show you Snaptrap in his robot mode. Now, first of all, you take off the rear part of the shell, which leaves him a bit weird and clunky at the back. You fold his legs round to the back, like so, and I think they sort of just, I think I used to just fold them up and out of the way sort of thing. You then take the sides of the turtle and fold that down, and that becomes robot legs. The other part of the leg swings down, and as you swing that down, his fists come out automatically, which is a really nice feature, which they should have done on a lot of other figures. So you ain't constantly trying to break your nails trying to get them out. I'll show you as it happens. Which is a really good feature, you know. I mean, at the time, that was quite something to actually have an automatic sort of fist like that. And you know, another reason why this is a great figure. To do the head reveal, obviously you just take the turtle head, swing it straight over to his chest, and that brings out his robot head, which is a bit G1 Optimus Prime, to be quite honest. You know, I know, obviously, you know, if you've got these, you know, hundreds of head sculpts, you're going to make ones that look a little bit like each other. But that is quite G1 Optimus Prime, or a cross between Prime and Soundwave, maybe. But there you go. That's his robot mode pretty much done. I mean, you can hold his large cannon, and obviously you've got the shield sort of part which becomes Piranacon's chest. Now you can fold it up like his chest, and what I used to do is fold out one of the pegs and peg it into his arm. I'm not sure if that's actually in the instructions or whether that's just something I've come up with. So you can make up, again, sort of like a bit of a shield, or alternatively, you know, you could turn it and make it a bit of a weapon using the blades the other way up. But yeah, that's his robot mode. Obviously you can, again, in this mode you can hold the sword as well, which is all good. I'll bring him in so you can have a little look round him. It's a little bit kibbly at the back there with the other legs, which is a shame, but I do like it. I do like the fact that the cannon's sticking up over the top there, like, you know, the way that looks. A little bit of a shame that didn't tip, so you could actually aim his guns forward. But again, being G1, you're probably asking a lot. Articulation is okay at the shoulder. Obviously, if you articulate the elbow now, his fists do stay out because it doesn't wind them back in. You have to push them back in. So it is a good feature that you can still have his arms bent and still use the fists. Leg articulation, unfortunately, is limited again because of the combiner mode, which is a shame. And his head does, I think, move. It's that stiff. I think it does, but I don't want to force it too much. He's not wanting to. But yeah, quite a nice figure. Very Decepticon colour scheme. You know, I don't want to go on too much with this because otherwise I'm going to be waffling on. But yeah, there you go. That's what you get with Piranacon. Now, to combine him, we need to get the other seacons, and we'll take him first. We want to fold his fists up. I think we just push that shut to form him a bit more solid, and he becomes the left leg, like so. So we can put some over a little bit. Now we'll take tentakil, and I think he's pretty much just the same. You just slide his legs in and peg the foot on, like so. So that's his legs. Taking snaptrap, you swing out his legs to the side, which is pretty common again with all these combiner modes. Makes him look like a squat sumo wrestler. You then need to swing his arms over and back, push his fists in, fold his arm up and swing it over. Nice ratcheting sound on those. You can put his chest part on now, which I believe, let's try and remember how that connects on. Does that just literally push on onto these? I think these swing out and I think they go up the side of his body and clip on a little bit, so it's sort of held there, but not in the most convincing sort of way. It's on firm, but it's not the same as like where you have pegs and sockets on some of the other combiners. But again, that's his chest piece on, and then you just push his head straight on top. And then, as with usual combiners, stick their heads into the base of his feet, into the connectors. And then we want seawing next. We'll take off these weapons. He wants to almost be in his, almost like his cannon mode really. Make sure his legs forward like so, and leave his wings up, so he's in a mode like that. Swing out the post out of his chest and put the right fist in, and again that just connects in like the usual combiners do. I'll move him back a bit, and we'll take more later. Now he's a little bit harder to see, but I'm guessing get it back to almost his beast mode, like so. I think you, just trying to remember now, you swing out his mouth, which has got a hole there. I'll try and bring that in so you can see it, and you swing out the post out of his tail. Now the fist goes into his jaw effectively, I think. I'm going to have to just check the instructions on that I'm not doing that arse about face, if you excuse the language. Oh, on the instructions they show him as a leg. Okay, well that's no help whatsoever. So there you go, that's not really being much help to me, is it? I think you can do it that way, going by the box art. And then you can connect him in up here, like so. So you've got quite a big old arm there really. That's not the best mode, probably going by the instructions I might have looked a bit better. You can obviously fit the weapons in, but they also show the mode. They tend to use overbite as the weapon as well. Going back to his cannon mode, so effectively back to shark mode but with the legs out the back way, and bring his claws out forward like so, and stick his gun in there like that, and you can bring his head out, and then that's showing it being held there. That, strangely, although it's on the box art, which I'll bring in, doesn't actually work, bizarrely. You can't actually get to his fist. I suppose you swing the fist round to the side a bit. His tail was being a bit of an issue as well there, to be honest. You have to swing that section up. I might probably put the fist in first actually, like so, and then see if I can peg that in there. Otherwise I'll have to swap them around, which I wasn't expecting to have to do at this point of the review. No, that ain't going to work. We'll have to swap them round. Now, what do they show at the bottom? They're showing they're showing him as the one of the legs. So we need to get on the instruction manual. They are showing tentakil's left leg. Love it when a plane comes together, don't you? Here's the left leg. We need skalor as an arm. We need him. Ah, joy. We need him as a leg. So you have to swing it round like so. Again, nearly taking him back to robot mode. I mean, that is the thing with these combiners, you can actually swap the limbs around, much like I suppose the power core combiners, like today's figures. Let's have a look. They are actually showing these even like on the other arms as well. So let's go the whole hog and switch them over. So he would be on there, like so, and that don't work. Because he's still not going to be able to hold our jawbreaker. That is a weird old thing. What we do is we'll change him to the left arm, but they're showing just holding the sword in that arm, which does go in there as well. He now will need to go into his arm mode, turn his scaler into an arm mode like so, put the fist in there, and we'll see if that one works, because to be quite honest I can't really see any of these particularly working that well holding him, but I think we've probably got the best bit with this mode. That's it, he's actually finally got hold of him. Peg that in. It is a weird thing that they gave it this mode. I don't quite know why they did that. They could have just incorporated him into the main body somehow, like with Devastator. Again, you can bring the arms up. A bit wobbly obviously because of the amount of weight you've got there. And of course you then end up with a spare gun. Now, I know fair enough the other way to do it would be to take him off and use him as a cannon for Piranacon, and perhaps that's the most sensible route to go down if you ever get this figure. Personally I prefer it just to use the main combiners in the set to form his body, and then you can always use Jawbreaker as a cannon. It's weird, I mean I don't know quite why they did that, but there you go. But anyway, there you go, that is Piranacon as the instructions now show rather than on the box art. Usual sort of, you know, you've only got really arm articulation with the combiners. He's quite kibbly, but he's quite a chunky figure. Nothing's, you know, you give him a good old shake, nothing comes off. He's nice and firmly combined. He's one I'd recommend, but as you can see by what I've done with the review, he has his flaws. If you wanted to, something else I also used to do as a kid was basically fit on every gun I could pretty much think to on all of their other ports, so you end up with Skalor's cannons on his back. You can put seawings guns onto his parts for when he's in his beast mode. You can sort of lift up the arm and peg in sort of nautilator's gun. Nautilator's gun, if I can get him under there to do it. Like so. Just trying to think, yeah, you can peg on those onto, trying to remember their names now. If that's old age or just confusion. Into tentakil you can fit these weapons on. So you don't end up with a load of spare parts other than all these things. which again, like I say, other than maybe using one set to form a cannon mode out of one of them, you don't need the other 5. I don't know why they did that for all of them, otherwise you just end up with a row of guns. Now alright, they could probably fire themselves, but it's just weird. Anyway, that's G1 all over for you, and that is the review of the seacons and Piranacon. So I hope you've enjoyed the review. It's been a long tortuous review for me, because trying to get these things out and remember how they go after they've probably been packed away for getting on nearly 20 years is a bit of a head scratch for me too. In doing it though, and doing it blind like this, I think I'll sort of perhaps more show you some of the little problematic parts of owning and transforming these figures, because if I'm a bit rusty, it's a bit more like when you go into it blind if you brought them yourself from new. Anyway, I'm going for a lie down, and I hope you've enjoyed that review, and please feel free to comment or subscribe. Thank you again, I should say, to new subscribers I've gained through Kale Prime's introduction to a Transformers fan, the Redux. It's nice to always meet sort of new people, and obviously it's nice to get new subscribers. If you're interested in this stuff, you know, feel free to subscribe. Still got tons of Transformers. You'll hear the weary sort of sound in my voice that I will get round to reviewing. Not weary because I own them, weary because when I think how many I've still got to go through, it's a lot of reviewing. I'll just do it steadily over time. And I shall see you again for another review. Not sure what I'll be doing next. It might be something newer, it might be something G1, but that's just as the mood takes me. But as I say, hope you've enjoyed the reviews, and I shall see you again.